So hello guys, and welcome back to another video in our channel, and welcome to our part 2 of the 5 part series of analyzing Chelsea's football club positional play strategy. Now in our previous video we really looked at the build-up structure, and we looked at how Chelsea will really be perfect in build-up if they manage to grasp Enzo Maresca's training methods and actually tactical philosophy is ingrained in the team. Now, today we are going to look at the second phase of this strategy, and that is the progressive phase of play. The progressive phase of the play is just after the build-up play. Now, in this phase of play, we notice one key thing, and in Chelsea's setup, they have 5 players behind the ball who are building up and 5 players ahead of the ball. Now, the 5 players are the 3 center backs with the 2 pivots, and one pivot is an inverted fullback while the other is also an inverted fullback on the back line. The forward line is actually made of 5 players, 2 wingers who hug the touchline. Then we have 2 number 8s who move from midfield and occupy the half space positions, and a striker occupying the 2 center backs position. And that is indicating of how the team will play. Now, when you look at this picture, this is now Chelsea in the progressive phase of play. They are actually in the midfield third. They are not in the opposition defense third, neither in build-up, but in the midfield third. And this is what we're going to analyze today. Now, before we start our analysis, like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Now, Enzo Maresca, we are going to use a reference video from the recent clash between Chelsea and Manchester City. Though ignoring that the scoreline was actually caused because of Chelsea's errors during build-up, we are going to look at what Chelsea actually did. Now, when Chelsea are actually progressive into the build-up phase, the progressive build-up phase in the midfield third, what we actually notice is that now we see some key patterns in the team. The wingers move high and wide, almost in line with the opposition's back line, playing on the shoulders of the last defenders. And in this position, my preference is Noni Madueke on the right and Raheem Sterling on the left. Why? This because these 2 players are very good in 1v1 duels and are actually fitting Maresca's attacking philosophy. Now, this is also further aided by the opposition actually committing into a half midfield press, meaning that they are trying to sit in a mid block. Now, this mid block will inform on how Chelsea is actually going to attack the opponents. And what we see next is the 2 number 8s in the 4-3-3 moving in positions behind the opposition line, creating a twin 10 scenario. And in this position, we expect players such as Cole Palmer and Dewsbury Hall. Alternatively, Maresca might also decide to accommodate Nkunku or Enzo Fernandez in this position, but my starting pickup for this position is Palmer and Dewsbury. Now, these 2 players are very key in that they're the creative hub of the team. Now, the middle of the pack is left for the number 6 to actually play the roaming role, the screening role. But to give him more solidity in the midfield, Enzo Maresca inverts 1 fullback into midfield so that they can be able to create 2 double pivots. As you can see in this clip, Manchester City are looking to try and press Chelsea, but you can already see Chelsea have that 2-man pivot in the middle of the pack to actually give them numerical advantages in those kinds of situations. And this is also very important because now Chelsea are not only able to create numerical advantages against the 2 players who are pressing, but they're also able to create numerical advantages in midfield by having that box midfield structure. Now, why is this box midfield structure so important? This box midfield structure is comprised of the 2 pivots, 1 inverted fullback and the defensive midfielder, and the 2 number 8s who play in behind the opposition's backline, something that is very crucial and very important for this team. Now, when you have this box midfield position, you're already outnumbering the opponents. And the role of the central center back is very crucial in that he's the one who patiently holds the ball to draw in a press so that he can play the ball onto the holding midfielder. Now you can see from this clip, Tosin is actually the central most mid defender. He holds on to the ball till he's actually pressed. And once he's pressed, he's able to play that simple pass onto Moises Caicedo. But Caicedo in this position is also being pressed. If Caicedo can manage to actually turn and play this ball to Dewsbury Hall, then Chelsea will be in a position whereby they're able to create overloads over against the fullbacks. Now, it all depends with the timing of the press. The central centre-back can also look to play the ball to his wide centre-backs. The role of the wide centre-backs is actually to carry the ball and look to progress with the ball into the midfield region of the pitch. carrying the ball to draw in wingers. Once they draw in wingers, they're able to play the ball onto the attackers and actually put them in 1v1 situations. You can see from this clip, Colwill has actually managed to find Dewsbury, and Dewsbury Hall is actually receiving the ball in a wide position zone, pulling out Manchester City's fullback, and is able to play the ball towards the left wing for the runs of Raheem Sterling. And in this case, what you automatically notice is that Sterling has been put, Gusto has been put in a 1v1 situation. The problem with Chelsea's first half is that even when they put the winger here, you find that if Sterling was here, he would easily beat Calvin Phillips. But because they decided to use Gusto here, Gusto was not quite effective. That's why you need wingers in these wide positions. Now, the main aim and the main dangerous threat of this situation is actually to give wingers those 1v1 duels in the wide areas. And once you have your centre back also in this position, he should be able to also play the ball into the half spaces for their creative players. Like in this situation, you can see the position of Christopher Nkunku, and Tosin has already spotted this pass and now wants to progress with the ball higher up the pitch so that he can make this pass onto Nkunku. And once Nkunku receives this ball in the half space, his main aim is to try to link up with the winger, or if pressed, can pass the ball backwards. Now, if the opposition decide to actually squeeze in that space in between the lines, then there's actually spaces in behind, and this is the space between the back line and the position of the goalkeeper. Now, it's the work of the central defenders to actually play long balls over the top to exploit this position. Like in this phase here, Robert Sanchez is the one who's stepping out with the ball. The centre backs are split wide in wide positions and are actually pulling Manchester City out. Now, Sanchez is able to play the ball into that space behind Manchester City, and you can see runners making runs in behind. We can see the position of Mudryk, who's looking to make that run, but Mudryk's touch is very poor. But we've noticed when Noni Madueke plays there, he actually has a better touch than Mudryk and is able to receive the ball and look to create something in that position. And once in this position, he should be able to actually know when to cross and when to actually dribble past the opponent. Now, this is very crucial when Chelsea are actually looking to build through the midfield third, because that space will actually inform them how they are going to play. And because the opponent is playing with a mid block, they realize that if they give the opposition defenders time and space on the ball, they can easily pick the wingers. And once they pick the wingers and have the wingers in this dual 1v1 situation, if you have elite wingers such as Noni Madueke and Raheem Sterling, you bet them against any fullback that they are going to try and take them on. Noni Madueke actually exemplified this role when he played against Manchester City by seeing him constantly creating threats against Manchester City, something that I expected Maresca to do earlier on. If Maresca had managed to have Noni Madueke in this position, then Manchester City fullbacks will be very conservative and not engage in an aggressive press, because Chelsea would have easily destroyed them when they lost the ball. Having players such as Madueke and Sterling in this position, and once you have this in those wide areas, you are able to effectively manipulate how the opponent plays. Alternatively, if you're able to pull the fullback out of position, a winger can play this pass into the half space region where those midfielders, those attacking midfielders like Palmer, Nkunku, or Dewsbury Hall can actually attack the half space and look to whip in crosses for the far side winger, the striker, or the opposite player in the half space. Like, this is something that we saw in Chelsea's second goal. Noni Madueke manages to bypass the dribble past the opponent, and look at the position of Sterling. Sterling is arriving late in the box as a left winger, and once Sterling is arriving late in this box, Noni Madueke is able to cross the ball, and Raheem Sterling manages to finish this ball in a very good fashion. Now, if Enzo Maresca can manage to have two attack-minded wingers and a striker, do not play Noni Nkunku as a striker but rather as a winger, and you are able to get the best out of this Chelsea team. Now, look again at this system that Chelsea are actually looking to employ against Manchester City. Now, Manchester City decided to go to 1v1 press high up the pitch by looking to press the three Chelsea centre backs. Now, when they decide to shift into this 4-3-3 system, this is where we see Enzo Maresca's deadly move that he has actually brought in at Chelsea. And what is this deadly move? Now, the deadly move that he has brought at Chelsea is that when Chelsea are center backs are being pressed in this manner, the goalkeeper actually steps out and becomes another passing option. Now, when the goalkeeper steps out to become another passing option, what Chelsea are now creating is numerical advantages at the backline. Now, these numerical advantages at the backline are very important because now Chelsea are now able to outnumber Manchester City's three-man attack. And if Manchester City commit a further player to press the goalkeeper, there will be a huge acres of space created high up the pitch that Chelsea's creative players can drop into and receive the ball. Now, if a winger decides to move on to press the goalkeeper, he can easily play the ball to the centre back. And you can see also from this clip that Sanchez actually stepping out to play as an extra third-sided centre back, with the wide centre backs moving to occupy the full-back's position. And once this happens, what you automatically notice is that they are now able to outnumber Manchester City. Here again, Sanchez is progressing with the ball higher up the pitch. The centre backs have split wide on either side for him, and now Manchester City's pressing machines are now limited to just try and cover the centre backs because the goalkeeper can now have space to progress with the ball forward. And once the goalkeeper is able to play the ball to the centre back is able to play the ball to the pivot. The pivot, when under pressure, can lay the ball onto the attacking number 10 with quick one-touch passes. The attacking number 10, once he receives the ball, he's able to receive the ball, either play in the forward in behind the line, or if when pressed, he can look to play a quick 1-2 with the pivot. The pivot, on the other hand, can look to play a quick 1-2 with the striker, by the striker dropping in, pulling out a centre back out of position, and actually looking to play a flick on pass to an attacking midfielder. And this is how Chelsea can actually look to open up teams' defenses, by using quick layoffs, quick one-touch passes, and the passes need to be quite precise and quite accurate so that they are able to create situations whereby they are able to dribble past their opponents. Another thing is that when the goalkeeper is in this position and not under pressure, he should have the passing accuracy to actually play the balls in behind. And that's why Philip Jorgensen will come in handy by using this accurate passing strategy that he has to actually look to play those balls in behind. And once he's able to play those balls in behind, he'll be able to manipulate the opposition. Also, playing passes that break the lines will also make him even more difficult to control, because now he'll be able to break those lines and actually put Chelsea in situations whereby they're able to attack the opponent directly and look to create havoc. Now, if the two pivots are looking to be covered man to man, then the two players in the half spaces are free, and once they step out wide in those wide channels, they're able to receive the ball directly from the backline. And this will create a lot of problems for the opponents, because they will now be confused who to cover. If they decide to cover these two opponents, then one pivot is free to receive the ball, and once he receives the ball, he can be able to actually try and manipulate the game. Now, Enzo Maresca's system is very, very important, and how positional play is actually going to make Chelsea much more dangerous is something that we are really looking up to next season. The main thing is how Chelsea will train and know how to pass the ball. They are not supposed to pass the ball just for the sake of passing the ball, but rather passing the ball with an aim to try and move the opponent. And that is something that Chelsea will have to learn, and have to learn quite fast. Now, this strategy is very effective for Chelsea and will actually see Chelsea win a lot of games. Now, we have reverted back to our old system because of the feedback that we've gotten, but I really thank you for the feedback, because you actually help in us looking to create better content and something that can be help you understand the game much better. So we'll be looking for more comments from you and more feedback from you. If you've enjoyed this video, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And this is the end of the video. Thanks for watching.